I'm not Jared. That's Lucas. We're Big O Belt Media. Kelly and Steve, it's a pleasure to talk to you two today. I want to direct my first question to Kelly and first by saying, welcome to the BMF family. And
Thank you.
very excited for your casting. Been a long time fan of your voice acting work in particular, but just a fan of you and all. And seeing you come to screen really bring in a character that I had no clue was going to have and leave such an impact on myself personally, especially in episode 3. And I'm throwing episode 3 out there because I'm telling folks to prepare for this. I got to find a better word, but powerful scene between yourself and Steve. So when we start to get introduced, and even when you read the character descriptions, you hear about Detective Jin's background. It's very, you understand. But when you hear your character and when your performance, and you start to talk about it and how complex this character is, how excited were you to step into this role?
Oh, it was such a gift, to be asked to play Jin. I mean, she's so rich, and like you said, there's so many twists and turns, and that's what's so awesome about this show is that yes, you've got these bad guys who are highlighted, but us, the cops who are going after them, we're not just cops. We're not just guys that are chasing the bad guys. We have such a rich personal story, and it makes you understand where they're coming from. It makes you love all of them, right? It makes you really maybe not love them, but at least know where they're coming from.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Now, Steve,
Oh,
coming
thank
off of
you. Is this a question for
season
me?
one,
Oh, damn.
there you
Okay. The new person get all of the thing coming up here. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm glad.
Oh, I got something for you, brother. Don't worry.
Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate you, man. Here I am.
now
Got
coming
you.
off an
See,
amazing
episode
performance.
3. Yeah.
There you
Oh, woo! Woo! Feel your boy in. He only been doing it a year. Woo! No. Hey, pay me no mind. Absolutely.
Now,
We've been
coming
doing this
off
all
an
day, bro, so we
amazing,
gotta get something going. So let's have it. What's happening, bro? I'm
come
sorry.
across an amazing performance in season one.
Thank
We
you.
are introduced again back to Detective Bryant, and he is on his boogeyman as he just popping up on B Mickey every given opportunity at
Yes,
every given time, including even if we say episode 3, when magically out the blue, he just lights a cigarette for the man. Like, what are we going to expect even more of this from Detective Bryant this season? As his pursuit
yes.
of meat.
You will get more of me in my determination to get Meech.
Mhm.
That goes without question. And I think that it is laying the found. That's the groundwork for our relationship now. I mean, after last year and what he did and how he turned the tables with the killings, it turned us into something else. And so, as aggressively as he's going after his particular dream, my dream right now is to put him in the box, have him behind the cells, and have him count his days. So yeah. So I think we're definitely I'm on a war path. But like, yes, I am. But with bringing in Kelly and a couple of other factors, it doesn't allow me to go at him like I would if I was just by myself.
Mm.
So that there is a dynamic with having a new partner when the old guy got murdered. You're out there by yourself for a minute, and now you have a new partner. There's an adjustment, and that has to be done. So I can't just go hog wild and go get him.
Okay. Told you I got something for you, Steve. So let me
No,
go
no,
right
no,
to
bro. I'm only talking to Lucas, man. I'm just telling you right now. Let me be clear, right, fast. Lucas, do you have another question? Let's get this out in the open, bro. I'm a simple dude. I've been in the game a few decades. So
Nah, man, you're
oh,
of
go ahead,
legend.
bro. I'm sorry.
Without a doubt, you are of legend. Again, it was a pleasure to talk to you last season, and it was how magical was it for you and your brother to share a show together.
Yes.
But I think a lot of focus in the BMF documentary was more about BMF. A lot of people focused on that, but something else that was really important was this celebrity, this rock star to all of the feds, the police officers, everyone involved. You start to see and understand this motive of how times where they felt embarrassed. So the ambition grew stronger. So do we start to see, instead of just the typical overzealous cops just doing their job to any means necessary, you know, people get hit by cars and whatnot, you know, and it's just a day's work? Or do we start to see this celebrity start to come in at some point where getting Meech and getting that guy and taking out BMF starts to become less about the job, but the popularity of doing so?
Well, we haven't hit that yet, because my character, who's representing a lot of all our now characters, representing really the whole police thing. The point that I want to make, though, from the first season was that you need police officers to be able to pull this stuff off. You are not getting as large as they got without having people in pockets, whether that be politicians, police officers, you know, all the way federal. You go wherever you want to take it. You don't get to the national acclaim they got being as loud as they were without getting a lot of help. Because even if you're quiet and you're successful, you're getting help. That's all I'm saying. And if you want to know about that game, I think the loudness is what affected people the most. The celebrity aspect is what really sort of that sort of thing of that you're showing us that you're enjoying this lifestyle. What took it to a next level. I don't need that right now. I have enough to be driven on. I think as we further go down that road, maybe that can come into it. But for me, it's personal, which I think is rougher than just something that the celebrity aspect. For me, it's now personal. So I think we're going to delve into that more than what you've seen from the documentary or how it really was. You know, a lot of the thing is they're not really saying that, they needed us in order to move it along. Because nobody wants to be that guy I'm the dirty cop that helped them move it along. You can be in the world and say what you say, but you don't want to be on that other line and then admit to something of that nature. So that's how I feel about it personally. And thank you again, Lucas, for that question. I appreciate it.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Okay. So
now, what can we expect from your two characters' relationship this season? We've seen some great scenes with you two. The hot pot scene was amazing to me. Like, what more can we expect from these two detectives in this season?
You know, I think that Jin's whole biggest hurdle in this show is getting through to him, right? Getting through to Bryant and trying to get him to open up and be honest and really include her in this partnership. So there's a lot of battling going on between these two. You know, there's some fun banter for sure along the way, but you know, it's really them going head to head, as well as, you know, trying to, you know, fight the crime. They're really, her biggest battle is getting into his head and trying to know what he's thinking and where he's coming from. And, you know, of course he's doing all kinds of dirty, so he's not easy to, he's not willing to share. But yeah, I think people are gonna have some fun watching these two characters go at it, and the silly banter that we have. It's awesome.
And I think that dynamic can't be, you know, the hot pot is one of the scenes that we really had a good time doing. But you know, that dynamic, that's just, those are the cultural things too.
Yeah.
You know, but you also got man, woman, things that you have to deal with when you have to have a partner. Like most time in the 80s, let's be for real, the men were riding with men. They weren't riding with women. That just wasn't the case. You know, that really was few and far between. And I would argue that was really few and far between in places like Detroit, which sort of mimic places where I'm from, like Chicago. So that's all together, the whole gender thing that you have to deal with, along with the cultural thing. Then now let's layer in going after the bad guys and the different ways in which we should go about that. Her way seems to me, you know, by the book way, let's go get the bad guys. That makes sense to me. That's how she works. My way is, we in Detroit. We got to do it the Detroit way, and we need it this way. So if we can find a common ground and we can, and I can open up, she can open up, and that sort of dynamic, it gives us the flavor as partners that you sort of have to deal with. And that's I think that enriches the show. I think it adds something. I think bringing Kelly on definitely added something to the show, bringing on the dynamic that we now get the opportunity to play with this last season, I think really adds to the show. And you sort of see these people more humanized. You know what I mean? I mean, even that little scene right there is a little lighter for the character that I've been playing on this show. And it opens that up. Just that little, thing. It's crazy, right? So it's like, so it really works out. I'm assuming that's it without saying much. So
yeah, there you go.
That's what I'd like to say. And thanks, Lucas, one more time.
There you go.
Well, despite all the shade that Steve is showing right now, I cannot wait for the folks to check out this season come January 6th. And I really quickly just want to give a shout out to Leslie Jones, who also comes in alongside of you, Steve, and really sets the table early in the season. First scene is magical, and for sure this is going to be STARZ #1 show come January. It's a pleasure to talk to the two of you. Hopefully we get to do it again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Take care.